So welcome back to the AI Grid, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys possibly the easiest tutorial on YouTube if you want to use AI agents for your work. If you need AI agents to do a lot of work for you, this is going to be the easiest tutorial because it is no code. There is no coding required. It is simple drag and drop. And I've even created some free resources that you can use that's going to help you guys in this tutorial. So what you're currently looking at is the workflow that I've created. Now, trust me, guys, this is very, very simple. Before you think that this is confusing, just watch the tutorial and I promise you guys, you're going to be very surprised at how easy it is to build a simple workflow like this. Just trust me. So what I have here is a very simple workflow that I've built that you can use where you have multiple LLM agents in order to cross-reference different ideas to be able to get you an overall better response. So this is a health diagnosis and information workflow. Now, for this workflow, I'm going to show you exactly how to build this literally within 10 seconds because they have an automated system and all you need to do is fine tune your prompt a little bit and it's going to be really, really effective. So essentially, I'm going to click test the workflow. So I'm going to describe some symptoms from a health issue and then this agent framework, essentially what it does is it takes the symptoms and then inputs it to the first agent here, which is GPT 3.5. It then gives its opinion. Then it takes it to the second agent right here. It then describes the symptoms. It looks at the symptoms, analyzes them, and then gives its best response. Then the third agent, GPT-4, looks at the symptoms, analyzes them, gives its best response. And then finally, a controller, GPT-4 Turbo, the final edition model, this final agent acts as one that corroborates all the ideas and gives you the very best diagnosis you can have. And then, of course, another agent goes to the internet and then corroborates all of those ideas together and gives you a very, very comprehensive report. This is an easy agent framework, and I'm going to show you it working, and then I'm going to show you exactly how you can build this literally within 10 seconds. Just trust me. So now I used AI to generate some fake problems and give me the diagnoses so I can know it's accurate. And you can see here, this one is for appendicitis. So what I did here is I'm going to click run workflow. And now what you're going to see is that my AI agents are getting to work. Right now, they are all reading this text and they are all wondering and thinking about what this suggestion could be. Now, of course, this has multiple different applications that I'll show you that you can use for your company, for work, for social media. But I just want to show you when you combine the abilities of different agents, it's going to give you something that is rather effective. And this agentic framework actually takes into account different AI systems that can leverage the diverse data sets that each of them were trained on. You can see that this was literally done in around 10 seconds. So right here, you can see that the final pieces of internet that I've got here, you can see that the first LLM says it could be appendicitis. The second one says that it's appendicitis. The third one says it could be a kidney infection, could be appendicitis. And then, of course, the final decision here, it says the most likely condition is this, and here are some helpful articles. And this is something that you can use for social media, for all of the different kinds of things that you might want to use it for. Now, you might be thinking, okay, you've got 3 different AI agents working around the clock to figure out exactly what your health issue is. And then you've got one that scrapes the internet to look for internet articles and then comes back and gives you a response. But how do I build something like this? Well, the biggest thing about these workflows that you want to do is if you want to build a simple workflow, all you have to do is you literally just do custom setup. So essentially, you can describe a workflow in your own natural language. You don't need to do any coding. You don't need to do any setups. This is something that is completely in your browser. It's completely free to use. And you can essentially describe exactly what you want. And then you get your workflow built for you. Now I'm going to show you guys the prompt that I used in order to build this workflow. So for example, for my post-AGI economics group, a workflow that I wanted to build was one that actually helps them to determine the likelihood of a job being overtaken by AI, provides a time frame, and recommends upskilling courses if necessary. So essentially, it's just something that is going to help you if you are worried about your career and essentially allows you and takes the opinions of several different AI agents and then suggests the best career and looks on the internet to see if those careers offer courses. So let's actually create this workflow. I'm going to go ahead and click create. Now here's the beautiful part about Cassidy AI that I simply love. All I need to do is literally wait around 10 to 20 seconds, and then my workflow is currently being created. I don't need any technical know-how. I don't need to even really know how to use the entire system. All I need to do now is simply wait, and then the workflow is going to be built. Now, sometimes the workflows don't actually work out and you do have to do a bit of iteration, which is where I'll show you exactly what you can do in order to do this, because I've tested out quite a few different workflows and I've figured out what works best, especially for your work schedule or whatever it is that you may want to do. So for example, here you can see we've got this simple workflow that is going to firstly, have a manual trigger, then it's going to search for the AI's impact on the job, then it's likely going to analyze the time hood, then it's going to recommend upskilling courses. Now, what you can do if you want certain things about the model, you can go ahead in here and you can select different models. Now, when you are using this, I would recommend signing up because it is free and they do give you a lot of credits for free. So you can see right here what you do have is you have all of these state-of-the-art models. You get access to Claude 3 Opus, Claude 3 Sonnet, Google's Gemini Pro, GPT-4o. You literally get access to the best models for free. Now, of course, I do want to put a caveat out there is that you don't want to, have the maximum length up too high, because if you do, what will happen is you'll run out of credits up here on the right-hand side pretty quickly. So just keep this right here until you either have a paid membership or until you figured out the workflow that works for you, because then your credits are going to be done and you're not going to be able to figure out what workflow happens. So just keep that, everything default. If you want to switch it to, Claude because you think it's better for whatever task, you can then do that. But once you've entered your natural language prompt, I would say you click test workflow. So here, all I need to do now is enter my job title. For example, I'm going to put that I am a graphic designer for a small cafe in London. So then I'm going to do is I'm going to run this workflow and then we're going to see exactly what happens here. So now that you can see that this workflow has been finished, essentially what you can do here is at the top right, you can just click view previous runs. And basically what this allows you to do is it allows you to see how much credits that cost you. That is important because it's going to show you if your workflow is consuming a lot of credits, if you're going to need to upgrade to a paid plan, which of course you can click the link in the description. And depending on that, you can of course adjust your workflow. Now, of course, what you can do for this workflow right here, and this is what I recommend in some cases, is that you can add things to the workflow. So for example, you can see this is the final output. Now you might be wondering, why is the output half done? Like, why is it only, why does it cut out here? Remember, in the settings on the edit thing, what I did is I kept the maximum length of tokens outputted only to 200. That's because the response here that I'm getting on the actual workflow that I've done here, you can see that the workflow output is correct. So if I know that I want to actually use this, I can go into the settings and I can make this output longer. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I can actually get some up-to-date information. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to here, and then I'm going to, on this tab right here, is I'm going to click data. This is where you can do different things. So for the internet, I'm going to click search the internet because I want this to Google, okay, or scour the internet for any upskilling courses. And here is something really cool. We can do all time, we can do the past 3 months, we can do the past 6 months. And this is going to be something that helps us stay relevant within our industry. So I'm going to click insert variable, and all that is just a fancy word for the previous output. So we can see here, our output is of course recommended the upskilling courses. So all we do is we search the internet based on this output right here. So right here, that's what we're going to do. And now we're just going to basically run this workflow again. And the only change that we've made is that we made it search the internet and of course give us links to that. So you can see right here, if we edit this workflow, you can see that's all it's pretty much done. And then of course, we're just going to test this workflow, run it one more time, and then we should have the outputs that we need. So now you can see here at the final stage, what it does is it takes the previous response and then it manages to Google certain things about your industry. And you can see we've got a nice article here that AI isn't capable of snapping up these jobs yet. And of course, taking further agency action on AI, 23 statistics that you might need. So it searches the relevant things. Now, of course, you can see right here, this is a workflow that I actually built. This one is a little bit better because I built this with a custom GPT that actually outlines step by step what you're going to need to do. So for example, if we enter that same prompt, and I'm going to show you guys the custom GPT I used in a moment, but let's say we put a graphic designer who works at a cafe in London. You can see right here, if I click run the workflow, you can see that right here, this agent chain is going to work together to produce an entire response. So all I need to do now is sit back and wait 20 seconds or so, and then it's going to give me an entire overview of exactly what's going on here. So right here, you can see it searches the internet to see if a graphic designer's job is at risk. Then you can see is it's going to analyze the job takeover likelihood based on the information it got from the internet. So this agent is actually up to date. Then, of course, it says only continue if the job takeover is likely. So it's not going to waste any additional credits. Then, of course, it searches for upskilling courses. And then finally, it generates the upskilling advice. You can see that the final response here is something that's much more comprehensive that I can immediately send to a group member in my school. If they ask me about their career, I can immediately use this entire workflow. I've automated the process of essentially giving them upskilling advice and providing them with really good links. It says here, considering the search results, I recommend the following upskilling skills and courses for a graphic designer working at a cafe in London to stay relevant in the face of AI advancements. You can see right here, it gives 3 different relevant responses that are up to date for my user. And that workflow only took me seconds to create. So all I did was I clicked a new chat. I clicked on the workflow button right here. I then clicked on custom setup. Then right here, before I entered the workflow in my own words, I know that sometimes it doesn't always work the best. So what I did was, this might be a bit extra to you, but I created this custom GPT that allows me to build custom workflows that actually takes advantage of Cassidy AI's comprehensive system. I've made this custom GPT understand all of the knowledge of Cassidy AI and build things that give me a natural language prompt that actually works effectively. So I can describe this in probably the worst language ever, and it's going to give me a very decent prompt. Now, what I could put here is pretty much anything, but I'm going to show you guys an actually useful example. So let's say you own a business or you make money online. Something that helps me make money online, creative ideas with AI. Okay, so I put that prompt in now, and then it's going to give me a prompt. You can see a workflow that generates creative ideas for making money online using AI. It searches the internet for the latest trends, gathers diverse suggestions from multiple AI models, presents a curated list of the most viable and innovative opportunities. So all I need to do now is just copy this. Or what I can do is if I want my prompt to actually be really effective, I can choose one of these 3 different things. You can see I've enabled this custom GPT in certain scenarios that are quite diverse to give you beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Either one, whichever level you think that you're at, you're just going to either copy this if you're a beginner, copy this if you're intermediate, and of course, copy this if you're advanced. You can see that each detail, each level has an increased level of things that it's going to be doing. You can see right here, this one sends an email report via email. This one right here, it just searches the internet, gets a list of, ideas using the assistant, and then presents the top 5 suggestions. But this one right here, let's suggest that we want to use the intermediate one. Now, let's head on over to Cassidy AI. Then I'm going to just put this in, and then I'm going to go ahead and click create workflow. Now, after this, I'm going to go ahead and run the workflow. This is actually one that I haven't actually tested before, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. So right here, you can see the entire agent workflow. This is where you can see the overview. What I love about this is that you can see the time frame it searches. You can see the AI models it's using, what the agents are based on, and then we can see if it actually got my prompt idea right. So I'm going to go ahead and test this workflow. So I click test. Then, of course, with this one, what I've done here is that I've done something that is just an automation that I just click run. So this one isn't based on any actual inputs. So all I would need to do is click this once or twice a week, and then I would be able to see the most lucrative ideas. So all I would need to do, literally click run. If I wanted this to be a bit different, and I wanted this to be for different industries, I would then add an input, and I would put an input that says certain industries, and then I would put that for the query for the online search. So I would make the online search about whatever it is that I input right there. So you can see that it is now generating multiple ideas. Then it's going to combine them into a list. And then based on the internet ideas from all the top agents, it's then going to give me a list of the top suggestions. Now, of course, right here, you can see that this one came out a little interestingly. It didn't give me the very best ways, but what you can do is what I love about this is you can see at which stage your agent kind of messed up. So if there was something about this that you didn't like, you can go ahead and think, okay, GPT-3 isn't that great. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Or if GPT-4, it wasn't that great, I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And like I said, if you want to edit this, you can, of course, change the trigger type. You can put like a manual trigger here. And then, of course, you can add an input. So you can put the input field name. For the field name, you just want to put your industry. Then, of course, you just click there. And of course, right here, when you click test workflow, you can put your industry right here. Of course, right here, you would just need to make sure not current online money making trends. You would just add the industry right there. And then of course it would search that, and then you would just add money making online. So basically right here, this is what your trigger is. And basically this is how to make money online with this. So in fact, what you could do is you could put how to make money online in, and then you just put your industry and then in 2024. And then you could put with AI, or you could change it to with, remote, and you could pretty much change this to whatever you want. So if we do like for, let's just say 2024 with AI, and then I go to the workflow, and then let's say I want to test this workflow and I want to say, let's say, how do I make money with AI in the graphic design industry? So let me just do that. And then I'm gonna run this workflow, and then you guys are about to see how quick this is able to do. So one of the first things that it went to go ahead and do is it went to go ahead and search online for money-making trends in graphic design and AI. You can see I've tested the 6 best tools. This is of course something that you can use to research the best tools. You can see right here, GPT-3 suggested ideas, GPT-4 suggested ideas, and we can see that we've got the best ideas right here. This is really, really comprehensive because take a look at this. It says, develop an online course or tutorial series on how to use AI design tools, create a platform that integrates AI into the website or design process, offer graphic design services that incorporate AI tools, develop an AI-powered logo generator, AI graphic design businesses, AI-powered website design, AI-generated content creation, offer, logos in DALL-E, and create, AI resources and templates. This is actually something that is very, very effective and something that you could use all the time. So with these workflows, I really do like these. Now, with these workflows, something that people might want to do, and this is something that I love to do with my workflows, is actually like to use them with my data. So for example, what I can do here is, other than using the GPT-4, what I can actually do is I can use my own assistant. Now I do need to find this because it should be here somewhere. So basically, you're going to want to come over to here and you're going to want to click assistants. This is where you can actually have your employees or just base assistants. Now, this is where you actually have assistants that have your own data and is something that can add to the knowledge base of the model if there is data that is behind a paywall or certain data that you may have created yourself that you want the model to kind of take into account. So for example, what I can do here is I can click create new assistant, or I can use these ones right here. So what you can do is I can go click create new assistant. I can do a custom setup, or I can use a starting point. So I can go ahead and I can create different agents based on whatever I want for my company. If I need a competitive analysis assistant, a sales assistant, products, if I need something in marketing, legal, operations, customer support. If you own a business, this is going to be something that is really, really useful for you. And even if you don't, this is going to be something that you can use and of course customize these ones based, of course, on what you want. So if you can see right here, this is a marketing assistant. What you can do here is you can click create. And what this is doing that I really, really do love is that sometimes it'll ask you questions like this right here. And basically you can see what kind of services does the AI Grid offer? What marketing channels, what unique selling proposition, what are your goals? And basically you fill all of this out and then it creates a custom assistant for your workplace. Now, once you've gone ahead and created your custom assistant, I've done mine here. You can see that you can then select the model that you want to use. So my one is GPT-4. You can change this around whichever you want. The name, and of course, this doesn't really matter. Call it what you want. The assistant instructions here is basically kind of like the custom instructions that we do have for ChatGPT, but this is basically where you say what their role is. So if you wanted them to act as a marketer, you would say, please act as a marketer for the company. I need you to write in this style. And of course, right here, this is where we get into the interesting stuff. So all of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory, but this is where you have your brand voice. For example, the AI Grid or my AI YouTube channel is Andrew Black. Basically, I might have a certain way that I speak. Someone that I follow online, I know that they speak in a certain kind of way. And of course, what you can do here is you can provide examples of how you write. If you don't want your AI assistant to be outputting things and sending emails that are very cookie cutter that people can see it's written by GPT-4, what you want to do is add examples here, okay? And this basically tells you how your brand voice is written. So what you do is you'd write certain things into this area from your previous blog post, from your previous messages, from your professional posts, and then it just analyzes your brand voice, and then it gives you your entire brand's tone of voice. So let's do this quickly. So for example, I just went onto Coca-Cola and I'm just clicking on their blog, and then I'm just going to analyze their blog post and see how it's written. So I'm going to copy this. Then for adding brand voice, I'm going to click here. It just click analyze. So what it's going to do now is going to analyze the tone of voice. Then I'm guessing convert this into a natural language prompt. So all we need to do, wait a couple of seconds, and then you can see right here, this is the kind of voice that it's going to be writing in, okay? Now, this is the most powerful thing because this gives you the custom stuff. So basically, with this right here, you can see I can add my assistant and give it certain pieces of information that only this assistant has. And this is really good for custom applications where, you know, that kind of information just isn't generally available. So right here, what I've done is I've uploaded AI and job exposure, and I'm going to be uploading a few certain research papers that are pretty niche that not a lot of people know about, that this AI can then reference and analyze whether or not that job is actually going to be automated in the future. This is something that is actually going to help out my school community, and is something that you can use in a variety of different ways. If you're someone that owns a business, what you can do is you can basically use this to kind of, so what you can do here is basically you can have files that are based on your, knowledge or based on your website. So what you can do here, as you can see right here, you can click a new folder, you can upload documents, you can upload entire folders, or what you can do, and this is something that I completely love, for those of you with an existing website, you can import the entirety of your website's data into that, and your AI agent is going to have access to the entirety of your website's data, which is really cool. You can also sync your Notion, your Google Drive, and of course your Slack. So for example, I've uploaded PDFs like I've spoke about that are on AI job exposure. And then of course, that is that. So basically right here, there are two main applications for this button right here. The two applications that you do want. When enabled, the assistant will automatically search your knowledge base to answer each question. The only time you would want this is you would want this if you have a situation where you're on a website and you're trying to find specific pieces about that information. For open-ended conversations or original content, just keep this disabled. But of course, what you can do is if you want to reference that, just put hashtag in the chat, and then it's going to give you that information right there. So for example, it says this is ideal for customer service chatbots that reference FAQ pages and support articles, or HR assistants that help employees find information from company policies. Or in my example, where we have a framework for deciding how to navigate the future, this is going to be something that you can easily query in order to understand how it does that. So now here's where we get into automating your entirety of social media with AI agents. And this is something that you might want to do. So for example, this is where you can convert any blog post to social media conversion. Now I'm going to show you two things here because this is something that I was like, wow, this is really cool. So right now you can see I'm hovering on this button called bulk run. Basically, if you click that, what we have here is a situation where you can run this automation as many times as you want. So all you would need to do here is just keep adding areas, okay, or import a CSV. And basically you would just import different blog links here, and then you could run this all at one time. But just remember, be mindful of your credits, because of course the free plan lasts you pretty decently, to be honest with you. But of course it lasts you until a certain minute. So what I did here, I'm going to show you guys my previous run. This cost me 52 credits. But what I did was I scraped a blog piece of content. I then created a summary. Then I created an Instagram post, then of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And then the final drafts, it actually gives you the ways to copy this, and it's about work in AI. And you can see it gives me a tweet, it gives me a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, and an Instagram post. Of course, I could do YouTube community posts, something that I could post on YouTube for you guys. I could get any blog, any relevant AI blog. And then of course, I could easily automate posts to my Twitter, to my website, and of course, to my YouTube. This is something that you could do en masse. This is something absolutely amazing that this workflow allows you to do. Now, of course, if you want to create this workflow, you can simply once again go ahead to workflows, click create new workflow, custom setup, and then simply just describe what you want. Of course, in my scenario, I'd recommend using my GPT. If you want that, it's actually available in the school community. It's currently only around $20 a month to join, and there are tons of resources there for tutorials like this that, trust me, you're going to want to enjoy. So for example, for my post AGI economics thing, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this link about AI taking your jobs. Let's say you were too even lazy to read this for your work. What you wanted to do, just click run workflow. You don't even need to copy and paste it. It's going to scrape that blog post URL. It's then going to use the different agents to be able to generate all the different workflows. And then I'm just going to be able to, consolidate the final drafts and copy and paste them to whichever social media platform I need. And of course, finally, you can see here, we got many different social media posts that we could easily use. Now, with the workflows, what you also have is you also have templates. So essentially, if you don't want to go ahead and create your own, you can go ahead and look at the templates for workflows that, have a variety of different things. You can monitor your competitor's blog, write SEO optimized blog posts, generate optimized SEO FAQs for an article. You could literally analyze legal documents, and you can see right here, these things are integrated with Slack. So I use this all the time ever since I've started using this. And I'd recommend clicking the link in the description, just trying it out for free, because there are going to be a lot more things integrated into this. And I cannot lie to you guys, this is genuinely one of the best AI agent frameworks that I've found that actually gets agents that can scrape the internet for you, combine different things for you, and of course, generate diverse opinions using multiple agents to come to a conclusion. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out my other tutorial videos that are actually giving you guys the easiest tutorials on AI workflows and how you can actually leverage AI to better your life. If you want tutorials like this earlier and you want access to all the resources, don't forget to check out my school. It's a private community where we share workflows like this that are going to help us advance quicker than the average person in any other industry. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, I'll see you guys in the next one.